what's up guys? As promised, here is the third video talking about what interviewers are actually looking for during this exercise, during this whiteboard challenge exercise. What are some of the things that they're really looking for, some of the questions that they're asking themselves, whether or not you're a good candidate for this particular position, and whether or not you're a good product designer, a good user experience designer for this role. So I have a slide deck here. This is a continuation of the actual slide deck. This is just the other half of it. In the beginning, I went through the whole process of the whole whiteboard challenge, the whole setup, everything like that. Then I went to the actual challenge, did the whole thing for you guys. Like I said, it was kind of tough because I have to be more than one person. Typically, you have another partner there with you, but I'm just trying to do this for you guys to help it make sense. And now this third part is, what are interviewers actually looking for? So let's jump into the computer and actually show you what they're actually looking for. So this is really going to help you guys out when you're doing this. So that way you can ask yourself the same questions, right? So like, oh, did I do that? Did I do this? Am I doing that? This is definitely going to help you guys out. And so let's just jump into the computer and let me show you. All right, so this is, kind of my prompt here. So what are interviewers looking for during this exercise? So we have this person over here, these three people looking very intently, looking very mean at this one lady. This is what interviews feel like sometimes. It's like an interrogation. It's not actually a conversation some days. But let's get into it. Actually, let me do this. All right. Okay. Getting started and research. This is a certain category that we as employers, or as I'm interviewing people, this is a certain segment that I'm looking for. Getting started in research. The very beginning portion of the challenge, gathering user data, gathering information, et cetera, et cetera. Do you understand it? So here are some of the questions that we're keeping in mind as we're interviewing you to understand if you're able to actually accomplish these particular things. Some of the questions that we're asking ourselves is, do they ask clarifying questions? Are you asking clarifying questions? Are you trying to gain more understanding of the information that was just given to you? And also, are you just taking what we just give you and just running with it? Are you digging a little deeper to help find out if this is the best solution, right? Okay. Second one is, did it ask about prior research, metrics, or feedback? This is good too. Are you asking have you guys done any particular research? What were your findings? Have you seen anything else that was out there, et cetera, et cetera? So that's something that you want to make sure that you ask as well. 3, do they take time to ask about users, dig into the problems to be solved, all that? So if you're not asking about the user, if you're not digging into the problem, you're not really doing user experience or design, and you're not really thinking about the users. You're really thinking about your ideas and your concepts and what you think is the best solution, but not really considering what the best solution is for the actual user. So that's why in the beginning, that whole framework we talk about, why are we doing this? Who's this for? Why is this for the user, etc.? Like, we got to dig into the user and talk about their pain points. So that the whole beginning section of the whiteboard challenge, it's really digging into the research. 4, do they get the whys or just focus on requirements? So this is the big one. Do you understand why they are building a particular app, etc., etc.? Or are you just an order taker and just say, here are the requirements and go? And you're like, okay, you want fries with that? That's being an order taker. That's just taking the requirements and just going and not really challenging the ideas, because that's what I want on my team. I want somebody who can challenge ideas and really help the team grow and really push the narrative and really push the actual ideas of stakeholders, because stakeholders are going to come to you with requirements. They're going to say like, hey, we want to build this. And you're just like, okay, we'll build it. That's a graphic designer's mindset. Don't do that. You need to be able to challenge that and say like, why are we doing this? Who's this for? Have you guys done any research? Have you tested it? Who have you talked to? Where are you getting these assumptions from, etc.? You got to be that person. I know growing up, you probably weren't taught to be that way, but you need to be that way in this industry. You have to challenge, because if you don't, they're going to run all over you. All right, next section. UX and execution. So to me, this one, this should be the easiest section for everyone. This should be the no-brainer section, right? The parts that I see that people mess up the most whenever they do these challenges is the section I just showed you. The research and finding information. They do not dig into understanding the user's needs at all. It is insane. Like, I've been in interviews where people jump straight into designing screens. I'm just like, why are you doing that? Where'd you get that from? How are you doing this? Okay. And you're basing yourself on what? Like, I seen a guy I interviewed one time. He literally just started jumping into it. He had an idea in his mind as soon as he heard the requirements and just he designed a flow. He designed some screens. Literally spent the whole hour designing screens. I'm just like, bro, you didn't ask any clarifying questions. You didn't get any more deep research. You just had an idea and you just ran with it. And like, don't do that, guys. Don't just have one singular idea and run with it. You need to have multiple ideas, multiple concepts, right? So here we go. UX and execution. Number one, can they create a flow? I hope so. So that goes into the whole flow of like the whole task flow, right? So we do the task flow. So that was kind of like the flow. And then we took that task flow and we started doing wireframes. Do they consider both personas in the flow? So basically, if you are in an application that has a buyer and a seller, do they consider both personas in their flow? So basically, if you have a whiteboard challenge where you have like two people, two personas, let's say a buyer and a seller, you need to be able to account for that and say like, hey, as a buyer and a seller, but we're going to focus on the buyer part, or we're going to focus on the seller part. So we want you to acknowledge that there's both parties in this persona, but we definitely want you to like focus on one side of it, right? But we definitely want you to acknowledge that there's two, because if you don't catch that, I'm like, I don't know about this guy. 3, do they explore a couple of ideas or just stick to one? Like I said before, if you're just sticking to that one idea and you don't really explore other options, you're dead to me. Not you're dead to me, but like, I know that you're not going to be a great addition to the team because you're not really exploring other options. You're just taking into one. You think your one idea is the golden. You're not really collaborating with other people. You just feel like my one idea is the best idea and nobody can challenge this idea. That is a bad mindset to have. So, are you exploring other ideas or are you just sticking to one? Do not just stick just to one. Even if the idea is great. So you can have your one idea, right? But you can also have your throwaway ideas as well. So we know you're going to have your throwaway ideas, but you need to bring those up as potential ideas, right? 4, do they refine it and iterate on ideas? So let's say you do have your idea and you chose your idea, but can we make that idea better? Is there opportunities for growth within that idea? Can we do something a little different? So being able to not be married to an idea is very important, because if you're so married to an idea and you get challenged on it, you're going to be upset because like, oh my God, I can't believe they didn't like my idea. My idea is the best. We don't want to work with people like that. We don't want to work with one-minded, single-sided individuals. We need to work with people who are collaborative and want to make this thing better, because it's not about you. It's about the user. Duh. All right, number 5. Can they reason and weigh the pros and cons of the decision over another? Right? Can you kind of see the gaps? Right? Basically what it's saying. Can you see like, all right, this idea is great, or this idea is good, but can you see that? Can you realize that? Are you able to address that? Can you even speak that? Can you say that out loud to yourself that everybody in the room can hear? Like, yeah, I really like this idea, but I do realize this might be some problems with X, Y, and Z, but I do feel it is the best solution for this particular process. So we're definitely going to roll with it, take into account some of the limitations that it might possibly have. So you kind of want to address that and kind of say that out loud. Number 6, do they consider native mobile features or notifications, etc.? So basically, as you're doing this, are we can take into consideration this mobile application? If we're doing one, is it native? Is it running on iOS and Android? Is it a web app wrapped in a wrapper? Is it a hybrid type of app? Are we using Flutter? You know what I'm saying? Like, are we doing no code option tools? Like, what are we doing, right? Because each one of those has its pros and cons, right? So we got to take into consideration each pros and cons of development and how we go about doing that. And also, can they prioritize an MVP? What does that mean? Are you trying to throw in the kitchen sink, the house, the dog, and the cat into this whole app on your first release? Or could we dial it back and just get out something that we know will help bring value to the actual user? The most minimum valuable product is MVP. That's what that means. The most minimum valuable product that we can ship that will help bring value immediately, but we definitely want to expand upon that and add to it. So that's what that means. All right. Last section. This video is brought to you by Springboard. Hey guys, if you have ever been wanting to make the transition from being graphic designer, teacher, truck driver, whatever, to being a UX designer, you gotta try Springboard. You just have to try it. I did Springboard. That's how I got my start. That's how I made the transition. That's how I got things done. That's how I got my first job. I took the projects that I did in Springboard, put it on my portfolio, submitted that, and then I got a job interview. I'm not saying it's easy like that, but that's kind of how it happened for me. So if you guys are looking to make a career change and you want to switch over to user experience, data analytics, whatever the heck you want to do, Springboard has it for you. Springboard is pretty cool. They offer a mentor one-on-one, so you get to meet with a mentor once a week, which is pretty cool. I'm also a mentor at Springboard, so if you sign up, you might get me. Who knows? Also, they offer a job guarantee, which is pretty cool, meaning that if you don't get a job, 6 months after you get your certification or after you graduate, they will give your tuition back. They will give all that back, which is pretty cool. Also, because you are an Ugly Unicorns listener, you will get $1,000 off your course when you use my coupon code at checkout. It is Ugly Unicorns SB1000. That is UGLYUNICORNSSB1000. Yes, because you are Ugly Unicorns listener, you get $1,000 off your course. So go be a UX unicorn, go be an Ugly Unicorn, and sign up with Springboard. I'll see you there. Process, collaboration, leadership, and confidence. This is huge. One, not having a process is detrimental to you as a UX professional. If you don't have a clear and defined process, how do we know how you work? How do we know that you're going to be able to get work done? And how do we know we can trust you to know that, so-and-so, he's good because he has a certain process, it's repeatable, it's teachable, etc. That's what I'm talking about. If you haven't noticed, I'm all about the process. And collaboration. Are you collaborating with these people on the call? Or are you just talking at them? Are you really trying to get their ideas and input? Or are you just talking just so you can try to get your words out? So are you truly collaborating with the people who are on the call with you doing this whiteboard challenge? Are you really saying like, hey, you, Rebecca, you're going to be the business, and you, John, you're going to be the user. So as a user, John, would you consider this? Or as a business, Rebecca, would you want to do X, Y, and Z? Like really bring them into the conversation, because the last thing I want to do is be sitting there idle on that call and not talking for an hour, just being silent and just hearing you just ramble. I don't want to hear you ramble. I want to hear you bring me in the conversation, be collaborative, because that's going to tell me as a person who's hiring, like, oh, this person would be great on the team because I know that they're going to be able to collaborate and be a part of that. Another two things, leadership and confidence. Leadership and confidence is very important. Can you, one, in this exercise, are you good at leading this exercise? And are you confident enough to get through this exercise? So even if you do mess up, fumble, don't know how to spell very well, like I'm confident enough to get through this whole exercise. I don't even know how to spell. I don't even care. I can still do the job, even though I can't spell for shit. Right? But are you showing leadership? Are you leading the conversation? Are you leading the workshop? Are you waiting for me to, are you just standing there waiting for them to give you the information versus like asking them questions to get the information? So that's what I mean by like leadership, and confidence. Like, I want to see that. I want to see that you can get through this whole workshop feeling good about yourself and you're confident enough that you kicked it, that you killed it, right? Kicked it and killed it. Either one of those work. But that's what I want to see. So let's get into some of these questions that we're kind of asking ourselves. So process, collaboration, leadership, and confidence. Do they have a process they can guide the room through? This is huge. Like I said before, is there a clear defined process to where we can go from point A to point Z? And are we getting lost between there? We want to be able to follow you, understand where you're going, like basically have a roadmap. If you're just saying like, hey, we're going to go to California this weekend. I'm like, okay, how are we getting there? I don't know yet. Just show up on the 17th. Like, bruh, I'm not coming. I'm not showing up. I don't know if you're driving. I don't know if you're flying. I don't know if you're taking a bus. I don't know how you're getting there. I need to know. That way I can be prepared for myself. So that's what that means. Number 2, how do they communicate their ideas and collaborate with others? So how do you communicate your ideas? Are you asking questions, or are you just talking at me? Like, are you bringing in people into the fold and asking them, I feel like we should do X, Y, and Z. How do you feel about going in that direction? And the person might be like, I don't think we should go in that direction. You're like, okay, I can kind of understand and see that where that comes from. What if we did this? Now you're collaborating. Now you're going back and forth. Now you're kind of taking this idea and this idea, putting it together, and kind of finding something in the middle. And that's kind of like compromise as well. So do you communicate that well? Are you more of as a person who's kind of a jerkish with it? Are you super docile and just like, okay, I would just do whatever you want? Like, no, you can't be on either one extreme. You gotta be able to pick and choose what battle that you want to take in that. So number 3, do they consider folks in the room or in remote? Do they consider folks in the room and remote? So basically, are you taking into consideration the people in the room? And if you are in an actual physical location, are you interacting with those people individually in a group setting, or on a remote side of things? Are you addressing everyone on the call? Or are you just talking to one individual person and this other person is just super silent, not being included? Are you including everyone? So that's why it helps to designate roles to everyone. So therefore, everyone can be included in the conversation. That's why I'm saying applying roles is one of the best things you could do. Not saying my idea. I didn't come up with the idea, but it's something I do implement in exercise. Number 4, do they explain how they make their design decisions? So this is one that designers kind of struggle with. They just really just make stuff and just do stuff, but don't really talk about how they did it, why they did it, and what benefits that it's going to have. So do you properly explain why you do this, or why you're doing a certain feature, and how it's going to help the user, how it's really beneficial? That's something you have to do. You have to really kind of like talk through your thing. You got to talk through what you're thinking. That's why I always say, when you're in these challenges, don't be silent and just start thinking or writing. Like, really, really talk as you're thinking about things, really talk as you're writing things. Okay? Are they confident when they present their work or ideas? Or do they say, I don't know a lot? You'd be surprised by the amount of people who don't know what they don't want to know. It's kind of hard to explain, but let's say you're in a conversation with somebody, right? And they're like, yeah, I would kind of want to do this, but I don't know. That's annoying. Doesn't show me confidence. That doesn't show me the leadership skills. Or like, let's go with this idea where we take the user, we're gonna send them on a nice journey where they can go find a hot air balloon. But I don't know. It could be that. Bro, that's not confidence. That doesn't show me that you know what you're doing. I need somebody who's clear, concise, straight to the point. I don't need all this, I don't know, this and that, all the weeble wobble. Like, be confident when you present. You'd be surprised how confidence can get you out of a lot of situations. Even if you bomb, even if you know you fail, Confidence is king. Think about a comedian who's went on stage and bombed, but still had the confidence to like still push through the show and didn't dwell on that. And like, oh my God, I really didn't think I did good. No, confidence is king. Number 6, how do they handle feedback? How do you handle feedback? Are you the type of person who gets upset about it when somebody mentions it, who challenges you? Are you open to feedback? Are you able to accept the good with the bad? Example is you go to your stakeholder or whatever, you present an idea and it's like, this doesn't feel like the right direction. You're like, well, why doesn't it feel like the right direction? I think it's the perfect direction. I did this and I did that. I did this. Pause, calm down, get divorced from your idea. It's not about you, right? You got to be able to handle that feedback and also handle feedback from users too. Cause a user might come through and say like, yo, this is dumb. And users would be so blunt with it and so direct with it. Like, yo, I don't understand this. This is dumb. This is blunt. This is dumb. I don't get it. This is stupid. And you could be like, I don't think it's stupid. I think it's great. I think it's amazing. Okay, because I made it. You can't do that. Get divorced from your ideas and move forward. That's what that is. And so, guys, that's it. That's been the video. I really appreciate you for following on that one. Really trying to understand what the interviewers actually want from an individual. It's very, very important to understand. And it also will help you kind of gauge, okay, am I doing all the things that they are thinking about when I present, when I go through this challenge? This is something that a lot of people will not tell you. A lot of people that just don't understand or even know how to tell you that there's 2 sides to this. There's one where you have to go through, show your process, and execute, and show that you can do UX stuff. But are you thinking about the business? Are you thinking about your actual users? Are you confident? Are you showing leadership skills, et cetera, et cetera? Those are other things that we're thinking about, not just can you create a wireframe or can you use Figma? Can you use Photoshop, whatever tool you're using? It's not about that. It's a lot of things that go into the tactical things, the hard skills. You got to be able to have those soft skills as well, because you will be interacting with other people on the team or within the company. You will be hosting meetings. You will be giving talks. You will be going through your designs and kind of sell your ideas to your stakeholders and your devs and your PMs. And you got to be able to talk and interview with actual users and not get upset when they say your work sucks, because it might suck because you don't really take into consideration what they really want. So that's why I'm saying there are other things that go into this whiteboard challenge that you definitely will not see or definitely will not understand, because you are not on that side of the fence. I'm on that side of the fence. So I can definitely tell you, this is what we as people who are hiring and we as people who are doing interviews are looking for. Not just, can this person, ask a couple questions and, do the wireframe. Like, this whole exercise is mental gymnastics for a reason. It's meant to challenge you. It's meant to put you in a pressure situation to see how you think, to see how you operate, to see how you lead, to see how you interact, to see how you collaborate, to see how you actually have a clear and defined, developed process. That's huge. You'd be surprised the amount of people who don't really have a process. And also, don't ever ask like, hey, what do you guys want to see? Don't do that. So that goes into my next video. So the next thing I'm going to be doing next is probably telling you guys and showing you guys how to actually present your work when you're actually applying for these roles. How to present your portfolio. How do you go about doing that? And what are some things that people or interviewers are actually looking for when you are actually presenting your work to them to get a job? That's different from presenting your work to stakeholders. That could be another topic in another video. But next video I'll probably do is how to actually present your portfolio and your work to people when you're actually trying to get a job. Very important. I've been on a bunch of portfolio reviews, of a bunch of portfolio interviews, and a bunch of whiteboard challenges too. And you'd be surprised by the amount of senior people, senior designers. Yes, these are senior designers who do not know how to present their work for an interview, who do not know how to do a whiteboard challenge. People think that it's only just junior designers who don't know how to do these things. No, it is senior designers who do not know how to do these things. So for all you senior designers out there, do not get on the juniors, bro. It's not just them. It is y'all too. Trust me. It is y'all too. But anyways, guys, that's it. Stay tuned for the next video that's going to be coming out soon. I really hope you guys enjoyed these particular videos. We hope you're getting something out of it. Like I always say, really appreciate you guys for being patrons. Thanks for all my Patreon members. Like I said, come to Patreon to get exclusive content from me, Eric Abram, Ugly Unicorns brand. Things I will not be showing on YouTube. You already know this. These are things I cannot show on YouTube because I'll be giving away the game. Right. So if you want to get more content, exclusive content, stay a patron, become a patron, tell your friends about it, etc., etc. I really appreciate you guys for following along. Like I always say, don't just be a unicorn, be a unicorn. Peace.